Good morning, everyone. This is K. Balakrishna. Presently, we are discussing about the subject strategic management. In the strategic management, we are discussing about one of the topics which is called as strategic analysis and choice. Strategic analysis. What do you mean by the word strategy? Strategy is a long-term plan of action designed to achieve the assigned objectives. And what is strategic analysis? Analysis regarding various alternative strategies which are formulated. It includes an analysis regarding business level strategies, functional level strategies, corporate level strategies, and many other strategies that the organization performs from day-to-day operations. Okay. First and the foremost thing to be noted is, how do we analyze the strategy? We must select a strategy in such a way that it is more suitable for day-to-day functioning of the organization. And we must select a strategy in such a way that it does consumes less amount of resources and more amount of profit is yielded by it. We must select a strategy in such a way that it must operate on least expenses, and we must select a strategy in such a way that it must be easily attainable. Okay, here strategic analysis is an important step which is undertaken before the strategic implementation phase. In strategic analysis, each and every strategy which is used is analyzed carefully, and then a decision is taken on the basis of analysis. Presently, we will be discussing about one of the topic called as for introduction to the strategic analysis. I'll be sharing you the screen so that you can know what the strategic analysis is and what are all the importance of strategic analysis. What are the steps that the strategic manager should do in order to focus on strategic analysis? Yes. What do you mean by a strategic analysis? A strategic analysis phase, in the strategic analysis phase, what do? You analyze the strategies. How do you analyze the strategies? By gathering the data. Gathering the data is an important step for analyzing all sorts of strategies in our day. Okay, here we gather the data in such a way that all the strategies are formulated in a better way for the upliftment of the organization and for the upliftment of the people as well. Next, with the data that we have gathered, we will be able to understand the environment that we live in. We will be able to focus on the complexity of environment, and we will be able to study briefly what the environment exists and what are the limitations of the environment, what are the challenges of the environment for strategic execution. Since strategic evaluation and strategic implementation, before step is strategic analysis, and in the strategic analysis we have to understand each and every strategy which is performed. Next, it is a backbone for each strategy. How can we say that it is a backbone for each strategy? It is a backbone for each strategy because each strategy before implementation has to compulsorily go for strategic analysis. Each strategy before implementation has to go for strategic analysis. Okay, it studies about the overall position of the businesses. In the sense, for example, if the company wanted to go for an expansion strategy, then it has to see whether the business is potential enough, whether the financial position of the business is potential enough, whether the business is capable enough, etc. and etc. In one word to say that the strategic analysis gathers the data. It gathers the data regarding the environmental complexity, environmental conditions, environmental challenges, environmental problems, etc. And it is the backbone for each and every aspect. That is, it studies the overall position of the business to be formulated. Before strategy is implemented, they do the strategic analysis. And with the help of this, they study the internal as well as internal environment first. Later, they gather the information regarding external environment. And finally, they decide whether the strategy can be implemented or not. What is a comprehensive framework for strategic analysis? What is a comprehensive strategic analysis framework? How do a strategic analysis is done? Strategic analysis is done in 3 stages. One is the input stage, second is the matching stage, third is the decision stage. In the input stage, the data is gathered. Here, what sort of data is gathered is, we will be saying it clearly now. What sort of data is gathered? Internal data is gathered first. First and foremost, internal data is evaluated. That is vision, mission, objectives, goals, functional details like marketing capabilities, HR capabilities, research and development capabilities, financial capabilities, etc. are studied. Next, external factors are evaluated. External factors include the political factors, economic factors, social factors, cultural factors, demographic factors, etc. are analyzed clearly. And later, the competitive matrix profile is studied with the help of SWOT analysis, Gauss analysis, BCG matrix, value chain, and many other matrices are studied in the second stage. In the first stage, external environment is studied. That is competitor analysis, customer analysis, supplier analysis, and postal analysis, etc. is studied. In the second stage, competitive profile is studied. Competitive profile in the sense they'll be studying about the competitive trends exist in the market, the level of competition existing in the market, the nature of competition existing in the market, the trends in competition existing in the market, whether the monopolies are existing in the market or not, or many other details are studied in this step. Next one is the internal factor evaluation matrix. In the internal factor evaluation matrix, what do? Is they will study about the internal analysis, like right from vision, mission, objectives, goal attainment to the functional capabilities, HR capabilities, research and development capabilities, marketing capabilities, production capabilities, and many other capabilities are studied in the internal evaluation before selecting a strategy. Second one is matching stage. For example, the company has selected an expansion strategy. Before implementing the strategy, they have to see whether the expansion strategy is possible or not. In the sense whether the expansion strategy is feasible or not. It means that the financial position of the company is studied. If the financial position of the company indicates that if the financial position of the company is vulnerable or very decreasing, then we can say that the strategy is fails if it is implemented at this time. So to avoid this, what do? Is they see whether the organization strategy match with the organization or not. For example, if the company is in losses, they prefer for retrenchment strategy rather than expansion strategy. Going for an expansion is a risky stage when the company is in losses. And in this second stage, that is matching stage, they go for Tauss matrix, that is Tauss matrix, SWOT analysis, PACE matrix, BCG matrix, IE matrix, grand strategy matrix. There are approximately 10 different matrices to be studied. All these 10 different matrices will be studied in the next days to come. The first stage is called as input stage. All inputs regarding the internal environment, external environment, as well as competitive environment are studied. The second stage is called as matching stage. In this stage, what they will do is they will study about various matrices which are present for the organization. The third stage is called as decision stage. In the decision stage, they will study about the QSPM matrix. Before going to the QSPM matrix, we have to know what is the objective to be evaluated. First and foremost is they have to know what are the inputs necessary. If the inputs are good, they go for the second stage. That is, they see whether the strategy is feasible or not. Third stage, if the inputs are sufficient, and if the inputs are sufficient in the first stage, and so in the second stage analysis, we can clearly say that strategy is suitable for the organization. Then they go for third step, that is relative attractiveness of various strategies. The first stage, whether the inputs, that is objectives or goal can be attained or not, is being seen. In the second stage, various strategies are suitable for the organization or not is seen. And in the third stage, the relative attractiveness of alternative strategies is studied. That is whether the strategy is helpful for the organization to generate the profits or not is being studied. There are approximately 9 different techniques of strategies in the previous step, that is matching stage, and only one strategy is used in that decision stage. Whatever it may be, there will be a certain basis for identifying and evaluating what sort of corporate level strategies are done. Here we wanted to revise one thing. What do you mean by corporate level strategies? Corporate level strategies include 4 different aspects like stability strategy, expansion strategy, retrenchment strategy, divestment strategy, combination strategy. These 5 different strategies are being used in day-to-day environment, and these 5 different strategies help in progressing of the organization. A small refreshment. The first stage, inputs are taken, that is internal, external, as well as competitive inputs are taken. In the second stage, feasibility is checked. In the third stage, decision is taken whether the strategy can be implemented or not. Requirements for strategic analysis. The main requirement for strategic analysis is focus on high-level strategies, in the sense whether the corporate level strategies are good or not, whether the corporate level strategies have resources or not. If the corporate level strategies are good, they focus on prioritizing the production, sales, and marketing activities. That is allocation of resources for marketing, HR, and research and development strategies. Next, second one is, in the second point, we will see about two things, whether they can integrate backward or whether they can integrate forward. Backward integration means if a manufacturer starts producing the raw material by himself, then it is called as a backward integration. And if the manufacturer starts becoming a retailer or seller, then it is called as a forward integration. Through forward integration, they can study the market, and through backward integration, they can study the suppliers. It's involving the company's leaders, in the sense the leadership team is studied. That is, various leadership strategies are studied, and based upon the leadership strategies, they formulate the plans and goals. That is, the strategic leader role becomes the major important issue, and if the leader is able to guide the team or organization in a better way, then all the strategic analysis will be proper. What are the steps in strategic analysis? First and the foremost is they identify various levels of strategies. Like first and the foremost is they identify business level, functional level, corporate level strategies. Which strategy need to be formulated is being seen. Which strategy need to be formulated is seen. Whether they have to formulate what sort of corporate level strategies they have to use. Either expansion, retrenchment, or stability strategy they have to use. And they also have to see which sort of functional level strategy is most suitable for the strategic implementation. They also have to see which sort of business level strategy need to be formulated for this thing. Next one is gather a team to gather a team to help in the sense they have to gather finance, HR, operations, sales, and other critical information from various functional level managers existing in the organization. And all the integrated effort of all these functional level managers helps to analyze the strategies. Next, they analyze the SWOT analysis, that is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. That is external environmental analysis. That is the personal analysis also. E for political, E for economic, S for social, T for technological, L for legal, and E for environmental. Functions are carefully analyzed in this step. Later, what do? They summarize the findings. That is, they submit a report regarding the strategic inputs available, strategic matching that has done, and finally the decision that is taken by the strategic team whether to implement the strategy or whether to quit the strategy. Next, devise the strategy on the basis of analysis. This strategic analysis is a step on the basis of which further implementation phase will be dependent on. First, strategic analysis is done. Next, the implementation of the strategies will be performed. With this, we come to the topic called as strategic analysis introduction. In this class, we have learned what do you mean by strategic analysis? What are the procedures, steps involved in strategic analysis? How do we formulate a strategic analysis? And what are the importance of strategic analysis in detail? Here we can say that strategic analysis consists of only 3 steps. One being the input stage, whether the necessary competitive inputs, whether the necessary internal inputs, and where the necessary external inputs are taken. Second is the matching stage, whether the strategy is successful, suitable for the organization or not is being checked. And third one is the decision stage, where they decide whether the existing strategy is suitable or not. Thank you for patiently listening.